The neighbor's voice was shaking on the phone. "Something's wrong with that family," she said. "The little girl. I haven't seen her in 6 weeks." It was a suffocating Tuesday summer afternoon when my partner and I arrived at the address. Middle-class suburbs, well-kept lawns, new cars in the driveways. The kind of place where nothing bad ever happens. Or at least that's what everyone likes to believe. The Richardson house looked perfect: fresh paint, immaculate yard, a pink bicycle leaning against the porch. Everything screamed, happy American family. But the elderly neighbor who had called was pressed against her window, watching us. She looked terrified. I knocked on the door. I heard footsteps approaching from the other side. Then the door opened, and a man in his 40s appeared with a huge smile on his face. "Officers," he said, opening his arms like he was greeting old friends. "David Richardson. What can I do for you?" My partner explained we'd received a welfare concern call about their daughter. David's smile didn't even flicker. "Oh, Chloe," he said, chuckling. "Our neighbor is very attentive. But everything's fine, I assure you. Can we come in?" I asked, just to take a quick look and close the case. David hesitated for half a second. Just half a second. But I caught it. Sure, he said, opening the door fully. "Sorry about the mess." There was no mess. The living room was spotless, pillows arranged on the couch, magazines organized on the coffee table, floor shining. Everything in place. Everything too perfect. A woman appeared from the kitchen. Blonde, thin, deep dark circles under her eyes. "This is my wife, Rebecca," David said, putting his arm around her. She forced a smile, but her eyes were empty. "The officers came to check if Chloe's okay," David explained to her in that same casual tone. "Because of Mrs. Patterson and her concerns." Rebecca nodded quickly. "Chloe's fine. She's just going through a rough patch." My partner wrote something down. "Rough how?" "Bullying at school," David answered before Rebecca could speak. "It was pretty serious. Kids can be cruel, you know. We decided to pull her out. She's homeschooled now." "Can I talk to her?" I asked. David's smile finally wavered. Just a little. "Well, she's in the back bedroom right now. Chloe's become very shy after everything that happened. She's been avoiding strangers." He pulled his phone from his pocket. "But look, I took this picture of her last week. See, she's healthy, happy." I looked at the screen. A girl about 10 years old, brown hair to her shoulders, smiling while holding a dog. Looked normal. Looked fine. "Nice dog," I said. "Can I see him too?" David blinked. "What?" "The dog. Where is he?" "Oh," he said, pocketing his phone quickly. "That's not ours. It's my brother's. We just took a picture when we visited him." Rebecca looked at the floor. I walked through the room looking around. Photos on the wall, David, Rebecca, and Chloe in various places. Beach, amusement park, backyard barbecue. Happy family. But all the photos looked old. In all of them, Chloe's hair was shorter. "Mr. Richardson," my partner said, "the law requires homeschooled children to be registered with the school district. Did you file that registration?" The smile returned, but there was something forced about it now. "We're still processing the paperwork. Everything happened very quickly." "I see," I said. "Even so, we need to see Chloe in person. It's standard procedure." David crossed his arms. "She's sleeping right now. Had a rough night." "It's 3 in the afternoon," I pointed out. "Exactly. That's why she needs rest." Heavy silence in the room. Rebecca was nervously fidgeting with her hands. David kept that annoying smile plastered on his face. Then I heard it. A sound coming from the back of the house. Like something heavy being dragged across the floor. "What was that?" I asked. David didn't even blink. "Probably the dog in the backyard." "I thought you didn't have a dog." "We don't," he said calmly. "It's the neighbors. Their yard backs up to ours." I looked through the kitchen window facing the backyard. Empty lawn. No dog. No movement. My partner shot me a look. He'd heard it too. He wasn't buying the story either. But we had no probable cause. No warrant. We couldn't force entry without something concrete. And technically, David was being cooperative. He let us in. He showed us the photo. He explained everything. Still, every instinct in my body was screaming that something was wrong. "All right, Mr. Richardson," I finally said. "But we'll need to do a follow-up visit. And on that visit, we'll need to speak with Chloe. In person." His smile hardened. "Of course. Whenever you want." We left the house. As we walked back to the patrol car, I glanced at the second-floor windows. Curtains closed on all of them. Except one in the back, That one had a child's drawing taped to the glass. Couldn't see it clearly from where I stood. Mrs. Patterson was still at her window watching us. "So," my partner asked when we got in the car, "what's your read?" "Something's rotten," I said. "But we've got nothing yet," he replied. I went back to Mrs. Patterson's house before leaving. She opened the door before I even knocked. "Did you see her?" she asked immediately. "Did you see Chloe?" "Not directly," I admitted. "But we saw a photo." "A photo?" She shook her head. "Officer, I've lived here 20 years. I've known that family since they moved in. Chloe used to play in the yard every single day. Every single day. And then 6 weeks ago she just vanished." "Maybe she really is going through a hard time," I suggested, but I wasn't even believing my own words. "That man," she said, lowering her voice. "David. He seems so normal. So perfect. But I see Rebecca sometimes. She looks scared. And that child." She narrowed her eyes. "Something is very wrong in that house." Back at the station I started digging. Called the school district. They confirmed Chloe Richardson had been withdrawn 6 weeks ago. Reason: severe bullying. But when I called social services to verify the homeschool registration, nothing. No registration. No paperwork. Nothing. I pulled up the school report. Chloe had good grades. No behavioral issues. No bullying complaints filed by her or her parents. Ever. "Look at this," my partner said, pointing at his computer. He downloaded the photo from David's Facebook profile, the same photo he'd shown us on his phone. Photo metadata. This was taken 3 months ago, not last week. 3 months. And Chloe's hair in the photo was shoulder length. If she hadn't cut it since then, it should be much longer now. "We need to go back," I said. This time we brought a social worker with us. Carol had 20 years of experience dealing with child neglect cases. If anyone could identify a bad situation, it was her. David wasn't smiling when he opened the door this time. "Officers," he said, voice tense. "Again?" "Mr. Richardson, this is Carol Davies from Social Services. We need to do a wellness check-in with Chloe. In person." He looked at Carol, then at me. The friendly mask had completely fallen. "She's sleeping." "It's 4 in the afternoon," Carol said firmly. "Wake her up." Rebecca appeared behind her husband, biting her nails. She looked even worse than before, thinner, paler. David took a deep breath. "Fine. But she won't want to come out of her room. I can take you to the door, but she'll have to agree to talk." We followed him down the hallway. The house was still spotless. No mess. No signs of a child living there. No toys. No school books. Nothing. We stopped in front of a door at the end of the hallway. David knocked softly. "Chloe? Honey? There are some people here who want to talk to you." Silence from the other side. "Chloe, sweetie, are you okay?" Then a voice. Muffled. Monotone. "I'm fine. They just want to make sure you're okay, all right?" "I'm fine. I just want to be alone." Carol approached the door. "Chloe, my name is Carol. I'm a social worker. I just want to talk to you for a minute. Can you open the door?" "No." The voice was strangely flat. No emotion. Like a robot. "I just want to be alone. Please go away." Carol looked at me, uncertain. "Traumatized children sometimes react like this," she whispered. "Isolation, refusal of social contact." But something was wrong. Very wrong. The voice didn't sound natural. It sounded rehearsed. "Mr. Richardson," I said, "I need you to open that door." "She asked for privacy," he replied. "You heard her. She doesn't want to talk." "Then I'll get a warrant." His eyes went cold. "Do what you need to do. But for now, I'm asking you to leave my house." We walked back down the hallway. I was seething with anger but couldn't do anything. Not yet. As we passed through the living room, I looked out the window facing the backyard. And that's when I saw it. The bedroom window. The one on the second floor in the back. It had a child's drawing taped to the glass: yellow sun, house, stick figure, family. Cute kid's drawing. But there was something strange about it. The little girl figure in the drawing had her mouth completely scribbled out in black. And the eyes were just empty circles. And when my eyes adjusted, I saw it. In the blue clouds of the drawing, written in tiny letters, almost imperceptible. "Help me." My blood ran cold. "You leaving?" David said behind me, opening the front door. I turned to him. That fake smile was back. "Yes," I said calmly. "We're leaving." But as I walked to the car, my brain was racing. I had seen it. I knew. And I was getting that girl out of that house. Even if it was the last thing I did. 3 hours later, I was back in front of that house. This time with an emergency search warrant for backup officers and an ambulance on standby. The judge had taken only 15 minutes to sign it. When I showed her the photo of the drawing I'd taken through the window, those 2 tiny words hidden in the clouds, she didn't hesitate. I knocked on the door. No answer. I knocked again. Police. Search warrant. Open the door. Nothing. Breach it, I told the officer next to me. 2 hits with the battering ram and the door flew open. We entered in formation, weapons drawn. David was standing in the middle of the living room, hands in his pockets, with that damn smile on his face. "Officers," he said calmly, "is this really necessary?" "On the ground." "Now," my partner shouted. "I didn't do anything wrong." "On the ground." David sighed like we were being inconvenient and knelt down. 2 officers cuffed him while I ran down the hallway toward the back bedroom. Rebecca was sitting on the couch, hugging her knees, rocking back and forth. She didn't even look up when we passed. I reached the bedroom door. Turned the handle. Lock. "Chloe," I shouted. "Chloe, it's the police. We're getting you out." Complete silence. I stepped back and kicked the door with all my strength. The wood cracked but didn't give. Kicked again. And again. On the 4th time, the lock exploded and the door burst open. The room was empty. Made bed. Stuffed animals organized on shelves. Clean study desk. Pink curtains. Looked like a magazine room. But there was no one there. "What the fuck?" My partner muttered behind me. Then I saw it. The closet. The closet door was ajar. I approached slowly. Opened it fully. Hanging clothes. Shoes on the floor. Normal. But the back of the closet looked wrong. I knocked on the back wall. Hollow sound. "Help me here," I said. We pushed the clothes aside. The back wall of the closet was actually a poorly fitted plywood panel. I ripped it off with my hands. And behind it, another door. Small. Painted the same color as the wall. Almost invisible. The doorknob was on the outside. With a padlock. "Chloe?" I called, my voice shaking. "Chloe, are you in there?" A sound. Faint. Like muffled crying. I grabbed my knife and forced the padlock. It broke. I opened the door. The smell hit me first. Sweat, urine, mold. The air was stale and hot. The room wasn't bigger than a closet. No window, just a tiny skylight in the ceiling too high to reach. A thin mattress on the floor. A bucket in the corner. And the walls. The walls were covered in drawings. Hundreds of them. Made with crayons. All the same families with mouths scribbled out. Empty eyes. And words repeated infinitely, "Help me, help me, help me, help me." And in the middle of that hell, huddled in the corner, was Chloe. She was tiny. Too thin. Skin pale as paper. Long tangled brown hair falling to her waist, much longer than in the 3-month-old photo. She was wearing a t-shirt and shorts, both dirty. And she was shaking. When she saw me, her eyes widened. But she made no sound. "Chloe," I said, kneeling at the entrance of the tiny space, trying to keep my voice calm even with my heart exploding in my chest. "My name is Officer Matthews. You're safe now. I'm getting you out of here, okay?" She just stared at me. Lips moving but no sound coming out. I extended my hand. She looked at it for long seconds. Then slowly placed her tiny hand in mine. Her hand was ice cold. I helped her out of that hole. When she stood up, her legs almost gave out. My partner grabbed a blanket from the fake bed and wrapped her in it. Chloe still hadn't spoken. Just looked around like she'd forgotten what the real world looked like. The paramedics rushed in. Started assessing her, checking vitals, asking gentle questions she didn't answer. I went back to the living room. David was still cuffed on the floor. And he was still smiling. "She was being punished," he said calmly. "Children need to learn consequences." "Shut up," I said. "You don't understand. I was educating her. I said shut up." Rebecca had stopped rocking. She was looking at me now, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry," she whispered. I'm sorry. "Mrs. Richardson," I said, trying to control my rage. The voice we heard earlier, when we talked to Chloe through the door. That wasn't her, was it? Rebecca shook her head, sobbing. He recorded her. Made her repeat phrases until they sounded right. And then he'd play the recording when anyone asked about her. "How long?" I asked. "How long was she in there?" Rebecca closed her eyes. 6 weeks. It started as punishment for an hour. Then a day. Then, he never let her out again. Said she needed to learn. That she needed to be broken before she could be fixed. My stomach turned. And you let this happen. I was scared, she screamed. I was scared of what he'd do to me if I told. He said if I told anyone he would. I don't want to hear it, I cut her off. I looked at the officers. Take them both. As they were led away, I walked through the living room one last time. Saw a digital recorder on the shelf. Hit play. Chloe's voice filled the room. Monotone. Robotic. Exactly like we'd heard through the door. I'm fine. I just want to be alone. Please go away. It repeated, and repeated, and repeated. I turned off the device and walked out of that goddamn house. Chloe was taken to the hospital. Doctors said she was dehydrated, malnourished, and in severe shock. But physically she'd survive. The problem was psychological. She wouldn't speak. Not a word. Psychiatrists called it selective mutism, trauma so deep the brain just shuts down the ability to speak. They said it could take months, maybe years, of intensive therapy before she could have a normal life again. She ever would. David Richardson was charged with kidnapping, child abuse, and false imprisonment. The prosecutor was seeking maximum sentence 25 years. But with good behavior he could be out in 15. Maybe less. Rebecca was charged with complicity and child neglect. She pleaded guilty in exchange for a reduced sentence. The jury took pity on her abused woman, also a victim, blah blah blah. She got 3 years, 2 suspended. Mrs. Patterson, the neighbor who called, came looking for me a week later. I knew, she said, gripping my hand tightly. I knew something was wrong. Thank you for believing me. But the truth? I almost didn't believe her. I almost let it slide. If I hadn't looked out that window at that exact moment, if I hadn't seen that drawing, if I hadn't noticed those 2 tiny words hidden in the clouds, Chloe would still be in that hole. And that haunts me. Because how many other children are locked in back bedrooms right now? How many other Davids are out there, smiling at the neighbors, going to work every day looking completely normal? Evil doesn't wear horns and a tail. It wears polo shirts and drives a minivan. It mows the lawn on Saturdays and waves when you drive by. It looks perfect. And that's exactly why it's so dangerous. That drawing still haunts me. The little girl with the scribbled out mouth, symbolizing she had no voice. Empty eyes because no one saw her. And those 2 words hidden where only someone really looking would find them. Help me. She tried 3 times to signal previous visitors, her mother told me later. But no one saw. No one really looked. I saw. By pure chance, at the right angle, at the right time. And I saved a life. But the question that won't leave me is, how many didn't I see? Now every time I do a welfare check call, I look, really look, at the windows, at the drawings, at the details that seem off. Because sometimes the difference between life and death is hidden in the clouds of a child's drawing. And sometimes the monster opens the door with a smile and offers you coffee. If this story impacted you, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real cases that'll make you look twice at your neighbor's house. Because evil lives closer than you think. And it might be smiling at you right now.